Welcome back to Tina Romance Library, where powerful alphas fall hard, and the women they underestimate change everything. Every story here is complete, immersive, and emotion-driven. No cliffhangers, no rushed endings, just full romances you can sink into. So if you love possessive alphas, strong heroines who don't beg, slow burn tension, emotional payoffs, and stories that actually finish, you're in the right place. I need you to join the pack right now by subscribing. Leave a like if you enjoy immersive romance. And settle in because once the story begins, we don't stop until the ending. Now, let's get into it. The stone wolf listened. I know what you're thinking. Talking to a statue sounds insane. But here's the thing. When you've got nobody left, when the whole village treats you like you're cursed, when silence becomes so heavy it could crush your chest, you'll talk to anything that won't turn away. And the stone wolf? It never turned away. The village square at night is a cold, dead thing. Cobblestones slick with frost, windows shuttered tight, the kind of darkness that feels like it's pressing in on all sides. Most nights, you can hear the wind scraping through the empty spaces between buildings, howling like something wounded. The statue sits right in the center of the square. This massive stone wolf, carved centuries ago by people whose names nobody remembers anymore. Its head is tilted slightly upward, like it's watching the stars. Its eyes are smooth gray stone, but there's something about the way the moonlight catches them that makes them look alive, almost. Everyone else in this village whispers their prayers to the gods. They light their candles in the temple, kneel on cold floors, beg for blessings, for protection, for good harvests. They pray to things they can't see, things that never answer. I whisper my secrets to a wolf made of stone. I know exactly how it sounds. Pathetic, lonely, maybe a little broken. But you don't get to judge me unless you've spent 3 years as a ghost in your own hometown. Unless you've walked past people you've known your whole life and watched them cross to the other side of the street. Unless you've heard the whispers cursed, dangerous, touched by something dark so many times they start to feel true. My family died when I was 17. A fire. The kind that burns so hot and so fast there's no time to scream, no time to run, no time to do anything but burn. I was out that night walking, because I've always walked when I can't sleep, because sitting still makes my skin itch. I came home to ashes and silence. They found 3 bodies in the rubble. My mother, my father, my younger brother. They didn't find answers. And when people don't have answers, they make them up. Some said it was an accident, a candle, a spark, bad luck. Others said it was something worse, that maybe I'd done it, that maybe I'd been jealous, angry, touched by dark magic, that maybe the fire hadn't been meant to kill them, it had been meant to spare me. That kind of rumor doesn't need proof, it just needs fear. And in a village this small, fear spreads faster than fire. So I became the girl people avoid. The one they stop talking about when I walk into a room. The one whose name gets whispered like a curse. I tried, at first. I tried to grieve the right way, to cry the right amount, to say the right things. But grief doesn't work like that. It doesn't follow rules. Some days I was fine. Some days I laughed at something stupid and felt guilty for hours. Some days I was so angry I wanted to scream at everyone who looked at me with pity or suspicion, and people don't know what to do with that. They want you to be tragic and quiet and small. I'm not small. I survived. I don't know how exactly. The village council let me keep the house or what's left of it. A few charred walls, a roof that leaks, floors that creak like they're about to give out. But it's mine. I work when I can, mending clothes, hauling firewood, anything that keeps my hands busy and my mind quiet. I eat enough to stay alive. I sleep when exhaustion finally drags me under. And every night, I come here, to the wolf. It started the week after the fire. I couldn't stand being in that house, surrounded by the smell of smoke that never quite goes away. I couldn't stand the silence. So I walked, and I ended up here, in the square, standing in front of this statue I'd passed 1,000 times and never really looked at. It's beautiful, in a strange, ancient way. The craftsmanship is incredible, every muscle carved with precision, every strand of fur etched into the stone. Its mouth is open just slightly, like it's mid-breath, like it's about to speak. And its eyes, God, those eyes, they're just stone. I know they're just stone, but sometimes, when the moonlight hits them just right, I swear they're looking at me. That first night, I just stood there, staring, feeling ridiculous, feeling desperate. And then I said, out loud, to a piece of carved rock, I don't know what to do. The statue didn't answer, obviously, but it didn't judge me either. It didn't flinch. It didn't walk away. So I kept talking. At first, it was just venting, anger, grief, all the things I couldn't say to anyone else because they'd either pity me or fear me. I told the wolf about the fire, about the nightmares, about the way my brother used to laugh so hard he'd snort, and how I'd give anything to hear that sound one more time. I told it about the villagers, about their stares and their silence and the way they've erased me from their lives. And somewhere along the way, it became more than that. I started joking with it, telling it about my day like it actually cared. You won't believe what happened at the market today, I'd say, leaning against its massive stone paw. Old Miriam tried to sell me bread for twice the normal price. Can you imagine? I told her I'd rather eat dirt. I cried beside it too, pressed my forehead against the cold stone and let everything pour out the loneliness, the fear, the horrible, suffocating weight of being the only one left. And I laughed. God, I laughed. Because if I didn't, I'd lose my mind. The wolf became my constant, my anchor, the one thing in this village that felt safe. I know it's not real. I know it can't hear me. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm sitting at its feet with my hand resting on its paw, I feel something I can't explain. A warmth, a pulse. Like there's something alive beneath all that stone, just waiting. And tonight, as I press my palm flat against the wolf's chest, I swear I feel a heartbeat. I jerk my hand back like I've been burned. My heart is slamming against my ribs so hard it hurts. I stare at my palm at the spot where I felt it. That impossible, rhythmic thump beneath cold stone. My breath comes out in ragged clouds in the freezing air, and for a second, I think I'm losing it. Actually, genuinely losing my mind. But then I look up at the wolf's face, and those stone eyes seem brighter than they were a moment ago. I'm cracking, I whisper to the empty square. I finally cracked. Except I haven't. I know I haven't. Because when I force myself to place my hand back on that massive stone paw, the warmth is still there. Faint. Impossible. Real. I should leave. I should run back to my broken house and pretend this never happened. But I've been coming here every night for 3 years, pouring my soul out to something that shouldn't be able to hear me. And now something is answering back. So I stay. The winter moon hangs full and heavy in the sky tonight, so bright it turns the snow-covered square into something otherworldly. Everything is blue-white and sharp, like the world has been carved from ice and starlight. Snow is falling in thick, lazy flakes, the kind that muffles sound and makes you feel like you're the only person left alive. I sink down to sit at the base of the statue, my back against the wolf's foreleg, and I pull my threadbare cloak tighter around my shoulders. The cold bites through the fabric, but I don't care. I've been cold for 3 years. What's one more night? I'm tired, I say out loud. My voice sounds small in all this emptiness. I'm so damn tired of being alone. It's the truth I've been avoiding, the one I haven't even admitted to myself until right now. I've survived. I've been so focused on just surviving, but I haven't been living. I've been a ghost haunting my own life, going through the motions, keeping my head down, enduring. And I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to wake up to silence. I continue, and my voice cracks. I don't want to eat dinner alone. I don't want to be the person everyone's afraid of. I don't want to be... I swallow hard, tasting salt. I don't want to be invisible. The tears come then, hot and fast, tracking down my frozen cheeks. I don't try to stop them. There's no one here to see, just me and the stone wolf and the falling snow. I just want someone to see me, I whisper. Someone who doesn't flinch, someone who doesn't look away. The crack is so loud it echoes off the buildings. I scramble to my feet, stumbling backward, my heart in my throat. Another crack splits the air sharp as a breaking bone. I watch, frozen, as a thin line appears in the stone wolf's chest, right where I felt the heartbeat. No, I breathe. No, no, no. The crack spreads, spider-webbing outward, racing across the statue's body like lightning frozen in stone. Light bleeds through the fissures golden, burning, alive. The temperature in the square spikes so suddenly I can feel sweat breaking out on my skin despite the snow. I should run. Every instinct is screaming at me to run. But I can't move. The statue explodes. Stone shards fly outward in a blast of heat and light and raw, overwhelming power. I throw my arms up, squeezing my eyes shut, bracing for impact, but the debris never touches me. When I risk opening my eyes, I see the fragments suspended in the air, glowing, dissolving into golden dust that swirls through the falling snow like a living thing. And standing where the statue was standing on the same pedestal, massive and real and breathing, is a wolf. Not stone. Not anymore. Flesh and fur and muscle and heat. He's enormous. Easily the size of a draft horse, maybe bigger. His fur is pure silver, so bright in the moonlight it almost hurts to look at. It ripples over powerful shoulders, down a broad chest, along legs thick with muscle. His paws are the size of dinner plates, tipped with black claws that gleam like obsidian. Steam rises from his body in waves, melting the snow in a perfect circle around the pedestal. But it's his presence that hits me hardest. It's like gravity shifted, like the entire world tilted in his direction. The air itself feels heavier, charged, humming with a power so ancient and primal, it makes my bones ache. This isn't just a wolf. This is something more. Something that was never meant to be trapped in stone. En alpha. The word surfaces in my mind from nowhere, but I know it's true. I can feel it in the way my body responds without my permission, heart racing, breath shallow, every nerve ending suddenly, painfully alive. And then he looks at me. His eyes are the same as they were in stone, except now they're molten gold, burning with an intelligence that's wholly, terrifyingly human. They lock onto mine with such intensity I feel pinned in place. Seen. Completely, utterly seen in a way I haven't been in years. The wolf's lips pull back slightly, revealing teeth that could tear through bone. A low rumble builds in his chest, deep, resonant, powerful enough that I feel it vibrating through the ground beneath my feet. I should be terrified. I should be running for my life. But I'm not, because that rumble isn't a threat. It's something else. Something I don't have a name for. And the way he's looking at me, it's not predatory. It's reverent. He moves with a grace that shouldn't be possible for something so huge. One massive paw steps down from the pedestal, then another, soundless despite his size. He circles me slowly, and I turn with him, keeping eye contact, refusing to show fear even though my hands are shaking. He completes the circle and stops directly in front of me. This close, the heat radiating off him is almost overwhelming. This close, I can see the individual strands of silver fur, the way his muscles shift beneath his pelt, the sheer, raw power contained in this impossible body. He lowers his head. It's a deliberate movement. Slow, controlled. He brings his massive skull down until it's level with mine, until those burning gold eyes are inches from my face. His breath is hot against my skin, carrying a scent like pine and snow and something wild I can't identify. This is the moment I should back away, should show submission, should acknowledge that I'm standing in front of something that could end me without effort. I don't. Instead, I do the stupidest, bravest, most reckless thing I've ever done. I raise my hand. My fingers are trembling. My whole body is trembling. But I reach out, slow and steady, until my palm hovers just above his muzzle, waiting, giving him the choice. The rumble in his chest changes pitch, softens, becomes something that sounds almost like a purr, and then he presses forward, closing the distance, and my hand sinks into fur so soft and warm it steals my breath. The moment my skin makes contact, something shifts. It's not physical, it's deeper than that, like a lock clicking open in my chest, like a thread I didn't know existed suddenly pulling taut between us. My heart stutters, skips, races into a rhythm that matches the one I can feel thrumming beneath all that fur and muscle. Recognition. The word slams into my mind with absolute certainty. This isn't chance. This isn't coincidence. This is mate. I don't know where the word comes from. Don't know how I know it's true, but I feel it in every cell of my body, in the marrow of my bones, in the deepest part of my soul that's been empty and aching for so long I'd forgotten what wholeness felt like. This wolf, this impossible, ancient, powerful creature who was stone and is now flesh, he's mine. And I'm his. The rumble in his chest deepens, vibrating through my hand, up my arm, settling somewhere behind my ribs. His eyes drift closed for just a moment, like he's savoring the contact, like he's been waiting for this just as long as I have. When his eyes open again, they're softer, still burning with that inhuman golden light, but warmer now, almost gentle. I find my voice, though it comes out barely above a whisper. You heard me. All this time. You heard every word. He doesn't answer. Can't, probably. But the way he presses his massive head more firmly into my palm tells me everything I need to know. Tears are streaming down my face again, but these are different. These aren't born from loneliness or grief or desperation. These are relief. I'm not alone. I breathe, and my voice breaks on the words. I'm not alone anymore. The wolf's response is to step closer, eliminating the remaining space between us. He's so large that even with his head lowered, I barely reach his shoulder. He moves carefully, deliberately, until his body is pressed against mine, a wall of heat and strength and solid, undeniable presence. And for the first time in 3 years, standing in a frozen square under a winter moon with a creature that shouldn't exist, I feel safe. I feel home. The wolf pulls back just enough to look at me, and the air between us begins to shimmer. I stumble backward, my hand falling away from his fur as his form starts to blur. The golden light returns, pouring off him in waves, and his body shifts. Bones crack and reshape with sounds that make my stomach turn. Fur recedes into skin. Massive limbs compress and reform. The transformation is brutal and beautiful and utterly impossible, and I can't look away. When the light fades, there's a man standing where the wolf was. And God help me, he's devastating. He's tall, well over 6 feet, with broad shoulders, and a body built from muscle and violence and raw primal strength. His skin is tan, marked with scars that tell stories I don't know yet. They cut across his chest, his arms, his ribs silver lines against bronze skin. His hair is the same shade as his fur was, that impossible silver white, falling just past his shoulders in a tangled mess. His face is all sharp angles and hard edges, a jaw that could cut glass, cheekbones that cast shadows in the moonlight. But it's his eyes that stop my heart. Still gold, still burning, still fixed on me like I'm the only thing in the world that matters. He's also completely naked. I jerk my gaze away, heat flooding my face despite the cold. Jesus Christ, I mutter, yanking my cloak off and throwing it in his general direction without looking. Warn a girl, would you? A low sound rumbles from his chest laughter, rough and unused, like he's forgotten how. Modesty, he says, and his voice is like gravel and honey, deep and resonant and accented with something ancient I can't place. After 300 years, I'd forgotten humans still cared. 300 years. The number lands like a physical blow. I force myself to look at him again. He's wrapped the cloak around his waist now, barely, and find him watching me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. What's your name? I ask, because I need something concrete, something real to anchor this impossible moment. Kieran. He says it carefully, like he's testing the weight of it in his mouth. Kieran Ashenfell. alpha king of the northern packs. He pauses, his jaw tightening. Or I was, before the curse. 300 years, I repeat, my voice barely above a whisper. You were stone for 300 years. Yes. Something flickers across his face, pain, rage, grief, all tangled together. A punishment. For crimes real and imagined. For being too powerful. For refusing to kneel. His hands curl into fists at his sides. They bound me in stone and scattered my pack. Left me aware, conscious, able to hear and see but not move, not speak, not... He cuts himself off, his breathing harsh. My chest aches. 3 centuries, trapped, alone, aware of every passing second. The others, I say. Your pack, dead, long dead. His voice is flat, but I can hear the devastation underneath. I am the last. The weight of that settles over us like the falling snow, the last of his kind, alone for 300 years, and I thought I understood loneliness. I take a step toward him before I can think better of it. I'm sorry. He goes absolutely still. His eyes track my movement like I'm something wild that might spook. You should run, he says quietly. I am not safe. Not yet. The curse may be broken, but I am still... His hands flex, claws sliding out from his fingertips before he forces them to retract. I am barely holding on to control. I'm not running. The words come out steadier than I feel. You spent 300 years listening to me. The least I can do is listen to you. Something in his expression cracks. He looks at me like I've just performed a miracle. Like he can't quite believe I'm real. What's your name? He asks, his voice rough. Elena. It feels strange, saying it out loud. No one's asked my name in so long. Elena Ashwood. Elena. He repeats it like a prayer. Like something sacred. And then quieter. Thank you. For what? For talking to stone. For coming back. Every night. Every word. His eyes burn into mine. You freed me. And Acrescits. Getting Kieran to my cottage without being seen is a special kind of nightmare. He moves like a predator, even in human form, silent, precise, every step calculated, but he's also built like a damn warrior and barely dressed. And there's no hiding that. We stick to shadows and back alleys, me leading, him following so close I can feel the heat radiating off his skin. When we finally make it inside and I bolt the door behind us, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Kieran stands in the center of my tiny main room, taking up far too much space. His head nearly brushes the low ceiling. His shoulders are broader than the doorframe. He looks around slowly, cataloging everything: the sparse furniture, the patched walls, the lingering smell of smoke that never quite goes away. This is where you live, he says. Not a question. It's not much. I move past him to light the oil lamp on the table. But it's mine. He turns to watch me, and I'm suddenly, painfully aware of how small the room is, how close he is, how aware I am of every breath he takes. You live alone, he says. Yes. Why? I pause, my hand still on the lamp. You heard me talk for 3 years and you're asking why I'm alone. I heard you speak of loss and grief. I heard you mourn. But I heard strength too. Resilience. His voice drops lower. Fire. You should not be alone. Something warm and dangerous unfurls in my chest. I turn to face him fully, finding him closer than he was a moment ago. Well, I'm not anymore, am I? His eyes flash gold. No, you're not. The air between us pulls tight. I clear my throat and move toward the narrow pantry. You need food. I don't have much, but the shelf I reach for is too high. I start to stand on my toes, and suddenly Kieran is there, behind me, his arm extending past mine to grab the bread I was aiming for. He's so close I can feel every inch of him along my back, radiating heat like a furnace. He doesn't move away. Neither do I. Elena. My name is a low rumble in his chest, and I feel it vibrate through my spine. I should not... He stops, starts again. I want to touch you, constantly. Every instinct is screaming at me to. Another pause. But I will not. Not unless you. Kieran. I turn in the cage of his arms, and that's a mistake because now we're face to face, inches apart, and his eyes are molten. Breathe. He does. Deeply. His hands are braced against the wall on either side of my head, not touching me but close enough that I can feel the tension in them. The restraint. This is new for me, he says roughly. You are. Everything is. I know. And I do. I feel it too. This pull. This need. Like gravity shifted and now we're both falling toward each other. We have time. Do we? His voice is edged with something dark. I have been stoned for 3 centuries. I have forgotten how to be gentle. How to be human. And you. His eyes search mine. You deserve gentleness. My heart cracks open a little more. You're more human than anyone in this village, I whisper. You're the first person who's actually seen me in 3 years. A low growl rumbles through him. They are fools. Despite everything, I laugh. Maybe, but they're about to get a lot more foolish when they find out I'm harboring a werewolf king in my cottage. He breaks the chair the first night. Not on purpose, he just sits down and it splinters under his weight like kindling. I stare at the wreckage. He stares at the wreckage. I'll stand, he says seriously, and I laugh so hard I cry. But it's the small things that undo me. The way he watches me move around the cottage, tracking every step like I might disappear. The way he positions himself between me and the door, always. The way he growls actually growls when someone knocks, and I move to answer. Kieran, I say patiently after the 3rd time, you can't threaten everyone who comes near me. Yes, he says, I can. And when I open the door to find 2 village council members standing there with pinched expressions and suspicious eyes, Kieran is behind me in an instant. Elena Ashwood, the older one says, not quite looking at me. There are rumors, strange lights, sounds. We need to. She is under my protection. Kieran's voice cuts through the cold air like a blade. He steps partially in front of me, and the sheer presence of him makes both men take an involuntary step back. I put my hand on his arm steel wrapped in skin and gently move him aside. I appreciate the concern, I say calmly, meeting their eyes. But I can speak for myself, and there's nothing strange happening here. Kieran's jaw tightens, but he doesn't contradict me. The council members exchange glances, clearly wanting to argue, but not quite brave enough. They leave with warnings and dark looks. When I close the door, Kieran is watching me with something like wonder. You corrected me, he says. You were being possessive. Yes, I'm not a thing to be protected. No, he steps closer. You're everything, and I will still protect you. That's different. Is it? I meet his burning gaze. Yes, because you'll protect me with me, not instead of me. He's quiet for a long moment. Then slowly he inclines his head. As you wish. And somehow, that simple show of respect means more than any declaration. It starts 3 days after Kieran's awakening. I'm making tea, just tea. Nothing special when the cup in my hand gets hot. Not warm from the water inside. Hot from the outside, like the ceramic itself is burning. I drop it with a yelp, and it shatters against the floor, but I'm not looking at the broken pieces. I'm looking at my hands. They're glowing, not metaphorically. Actually, literally glowing with a soft orange light that pulses beneath my skin like I've swallowed the sun. Heat rolls off my palms in waves, and I can feel it spreading up my arms, through my chest, coiling in my stomach like something alive and hungry and wild. What the hell? Kieran moves faster than should be possible. 1 second he's across the room, the next he's in front of me, his hands hovering over mine without touching. His eyes are wide, pupils blown, and there's something in his expression I've never seen before. Elena, he breathes. Don't fight it. Let it flow. Let what flow? I'm glowing, Kieran, that's not normal. You're awakening. His voice is reverent, almost worshipful. Your bloodline. I should have known, should have sensed it. The heat spikes, and suddenly the broken teacup on the floor bursts into flames. I stumble backward, panic clawing up my throat, but Kieran catches me, his hands close around my wrists, not restraining, grounding. "Breathe," he commands, and the alpha authority in his voice cuts through my terror like a knife. "Breathe with me. In, out. Control the flame. Don't fear it." I focus on his face, on his eyes, on the steady rise and fall of his chest. I match my breathing to his, and slowly, slowly the glow begins to fade. The flames on the floor sputter and die. When I can speak again, my voice shakes. "What's happening to me?" Kieran's grip on my wrists gentles, his thumbs brushing over my racing pulse. "You're a flamekeeper," he says quietly. "The first I've seen in 300 years. I thought the bloodline was extinct. A flamekeeper." The word feels foreign on my tongue. What does that mean? It means you carry fire in your blood. Ancient magic, tied to the first wolves, to the original bond between shifter and elemental. His eyes search mine. "It means you're powerful, Elena. More powerful than you know." I think about the fire that killed my family. The fire that started from nowhere and burned too hot and too fast. The fire that spared me. Oh, God. My knees buckle, and Kieran catches me, pulling me against his chest. The fire that killed my family. That was me. I did that. No. His voice is steel. You were untrained. A child. You didn't know what you carried. That was not your fault. They died because of what I am. They died because no one taught you control. Because the knowledge was lost. Because... He cups my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. Because the world forgot what you are. But I remember. And I will teach you. The certainty in his voice steadies something broken inside me. You'll teach me? Every day. His thumb brushes across my cheekbone, and the touch sends heat of a different kind through my veins. I will teach you to master the flame, to wield it, to never fear it again. I close my eyes, leaning into his palm. Promise? On my life. End footnote. Training is torture of the most exquisite kind. Kieran takes me to the forest beyond the village, where no one can see, where I can burn without consequence. He teaches me to summon the flame, to shape it, to feel it responding to my will rather than my fear. But he teaches with his hands. Here. He steps behind me, his chest against my back, his arms coming around to guide mine into position. Feel the energy pooling in your core. Draw it up, slowly. Let it build. I can barely concentrate with him this close. Every nerve ending is screaming awareness. His breath is warm against my ear. His hands are rough and gentle at once, adjusting my stance, positioning my fingers. Focus, he murmurs, and I can hear the amusement beneath the command. He knows exactly what he's doing to me. I'm trying, I grit out. Try harder. The flame bursts to life in my palms, not wild this time, but controlled. A perfect sphere of orange fire that dances between my hands without burning me. Good, Kieran rumbles, and the pride in his voice makes warmth bloom in my chest that has nothing to do with magic. Now shape it. Imagine what you want it to become. I picture a bird. A phoenix, maybe, something beautiful and impossible. The fire responds, stretching and morphing, taking wing, and then promptly scorches Kieran's sleeve. He jerks back with a curse, batting at the smoking fabric. The concentration breaks and I dissolve into laughter, the flame winking out. I'm sorry, I gasp between giggles. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean... You're not sorry. He shrugs out of the ruined shirt, and of course he does. And of course I'm treated to the sight of all that scarred muscle and bronze skin. You're laughing. You told me to imagine what I want it to become. I got distracted. His eyes flash gold. Distracted by what? I press my lips together, fighting a smile. Nothing important, Elena. He stalks toward me, predatory and purposeful. What? Distracted. You. You're half naked and pressed against me. What do you think distracted me? He stops inches away, close enough that I have to tilt my head back to hold his gaze. The corner of his mouth twitches. You burned my shirt on purpose. Maybe. That's cheating. You said to shape the flame with intention. I had very clear intentions. The sound that rumbles out of him is somewhere between a laugh and a growl. You're trouble. You've known that for 3 years. Yes. His hand comes up to cup my jaw, thumb tracing my lower lip. I have. The air between us crackles with more than magic. Int 4. The villager's name is Thomas. He's young, handsome in a conventional way, and he's been trying to get my attention since we were teenagers. Before the fire, I might have been interested. Now, when he corners me at the market with his easy smile and hopeful eyes, all I feel is mild irritation. Elena, he says warmly, I've been meaning to talk to you. I heard you've been, well, I wanted to make sure you're all right. If you need anything, I'm fine, Thomas. Thank you. It's just, there are rumors about a stranger staying with you, a man. His smile tightens slightly. If he's causing trouble, or if you need help. I don't need help. Are you sure? Because I'd hate to think of you alone with someone dangerous. A low growl cuts through the market noise. Every head turns. Every conversation stops. Kieran stands 10 feet away, and the fury rolling off him is almost visible. His eyes are pure molten gold, fixed on Thomas with the kind of focus a wolf gives prey. The temperature drops as people unconsciously step back, giving him space, recognizing predator even if they don't understand what they're seeing. Thomas goes pale. I'll just... He practically runs. I turn to Kieran with my hands on my hips. Really? He was touching you. He brushed my arm. Exactly. Kieran closes the distance between us in 3 strides. Touching you. Kieran. I know. He runs a hand through his hair, frustration evident in every line of his body. I know I'm being unreasonable. I know you can handle yourself. But when I see another male putting his hands on you, looking at you like... He cuts himself off with another growl. Despite my annoyance, warmth unfurls in my chest. Like what? Like they have a right to you. Like you could be theirs. And I couldn't be? His eyes snap to mine. Could you? The question hangs between us, heavy with meaning. We've been dancing around this for days. This pull, this bond, this thing that hums between us like a living wire. I step closer, tipping my head back to hold his burning gaze. That depends. Are you asking? I don't share what feels like mine, he says roughly. And you feel like mine, Elena. From the first word you spoke to stone, from the moment your hand touched my paw, you have felt like mine. My heart hammers against my ribs. That's the mate bond talking. Yes. He doesn't deny it, doesn't soften it. But it's also truth. Bond or no bond, I would choose you. I have chosen you. The question is whether you choose me. I reach up, letting my fingers trace the line of his jaw. He goes absolutely still under my touch, every muscle locked tight with restraint. You want to know if I choose you, I say softly. The cursed king, the last alpha, the man who was stoned for 300 years. Yes, ask me again in a month, when you've seen me at my worst, when the newness wears off, when you remember you're an alpha king and I'm just everything. The word is fierce. You're everything, and I will ask you again in a month, and a year, and a century, if you let me live that long beside you. I smile, even as my eyes burn with unshed tears. That's a long time, Kieran. Not long enough. And when he leans down, stopping just before his lips touch mine, giving me the choice, I close the distance. The kiss is soft, gentle, nothing like the raw intensity crackling between us. It's a promise, a beginning. When we pull apart, his eyes are molten gold and my palms are glowing with flame. You're literally on fire when I kiss you, he murmurs against my lips. I laugh breathlessly. Shut up. Never. The attack comes at dusk. I'm in the cottage garden, coaxing winter herbs to grow with small pulses of warmth from my palms. A new trick Kieran taught me yesterday when the howl splits the air. It's wrong. I've heard Kieran's howl. It's powerful, commanding, ancient. This sound is tortured, broken. like something beautiful was twisted into nightmare and forced to scream. Kieran explodes out of the cottage in full wolf form before the echo fades. He positions himself between me and the forest, hackles raised, lips pulled back to reveal fangs made for killing. Another growl rumbles from his chest. A warning, a challenge, a promise of violence. Kieran, what? Inside. His voice in my head is unexpected, and I gasp. The mate bond, he'd explained, would eventually let us speak mind to mind. I just didn't expect it so soon. Get inside, bar the door, don't come out no matter what you hear. Like hell. I move to stand beside him instead. I'm not hiding while they emerge from the tree line. Wolves, 5 of them. Massive and wrong and corrupted. Their fur is matted with something dark and oily that seems to move on its own. Their eyes glow sickly green instead of gold. Foam drips from their jaws, and the smell rolling off them is decay and death and twisted magic. Shadow wolves. The knowledge drops into my mind from nowhere, or maybe from Kieran through the bond. Wolves touched by dark magic, driven mad, stripped of everything that makes them human, and left with only rage and hunger. The village bell begins to ring. People scream. Doors slam shut. The largest shadow wolf lunges. Kieran meets it midair with a snarl that shakes my bones. They collide in a blur of teeth and claws and fury. Blood sprays. The shadow wolf is massive, but Kieran is an alpha king, and he fights like one brutal, efficient, absolutely merciless. The other 4 split up. 2 charge toward the village center. The remaining 2 circle toward me. Heat floods my veins. The flame answers before I consciously call it. Fire erupts around my hands, white-hot and eager. Elena. No. I throw a wall of flame between myself and the charging wolves. They skid to a stop, snarling, their corrupted forms writhing away from the purifying heat. Good. Fire is cleansing. Fire is... One of them leaps through the flames. I barely get my arms up before it crashes into me. We go down hard, my back slamming into frozen earth. Claws rake toward my throat. Teeth snap inches from my face. The stench is overwhelming. Then the wolf is gone, ripped away by silver fur and rage. Kieran has the shadow wolf by the throat. He shakes it once hard enough that I hear bone crack and tosses it aside like it weighs nothing. Blood stains his muzzle. His eyes are pure feral gold as he stands over me, every inch the apex predator. Stay down, he snarls into my mind. Not a chance. I push to my feet, ignoring the ache in my ribs. The second wolf is circling, looking for an opening. The one Kieran threw is struggling to rise, whimpering. Whimpering. Something in that sound cuts through the chaos. This creature, this corrupted, broken thing, it's in pain. Not just physical, deep, soul-level agony. I can feel it somehow, resonating through the flame in my blood. These wolves didn't choose this. They were made into monsters. Kieran, I call out. Can they be saved? He tears the throat out of another shadow wolf that got too close. No, the corruption is complete. There's only one mercy for them. Death. But what if he's wrong? What if there's another way? The injured shadow wolf drags itself toward me, snarling weakly. Its green eyes are clouded with madness, but beneath that buried deep I see awareness, a spark of who they used to be, trapped and screaming inside this nightmare. I make a choice. I drop to my knees in front of the corrupted wolf and press my burning palms against its chest. Elena. The flame pours out of me, not to destroy, to purify, to burn away the corruption like infection from a wound. The shadow wolf convulses, howling, and I feel its agony like my own. The dark magic fights back, writhing and hissing as my fire consumes it. Come on, I grit out through clenched teeth. Come on, fight it. You're still in there. The wolf's eyes flash gold. Just for a second. Just long enough. The corruption burns away in a rush of white flame. The oily darkness evaporates into smoke, and when my fire fades, the wolf lying in front of me is smaller, cleaner, whole. Its fur is brown instead of shadow black. Its eyes are amber instead of sick green. It stares at me with something like wonder. Then it lowers its head in submission. I did it. I actually... Strong arms pull me back against a solid chest. Kieran, human again, holds me tight. That was the most foolish, reckless, incredible thing I've ever witnessed, he says roughly into my hair. It worked. It could have killed you. But it didn't. I turn in his arms to find him looking at me with an expression that steals my breath. Pride. Awe. Something deeper that makes my heart stutter. I saved them, Kieran. We can save the others. The others are dead. His voice is flat. I made sure of it. But this one... He looks at the wolf, who hasn't moved from its submissive position. This one you brought back. End 40. The purified wolf shifts into human form as dawn breaks. Her name is Sarah. She's young, maybe 20, and she cries when she realizes what she's done, what she was forced to do. Kieran gives her his cloak and a place by the fire, but he doesn't take his eyes off her. The others, Sarah says through her tears. We were from the Eastern Pacts. We were hunted, captured. She did this to us. My blood runs cold. Who? The witch. Sarah's whole body shakes. Morgana. She's the one who cursed the Alpha King. She's the one who's been hunting down the old bloodlines, corrupting them, destroying them. She wants... Her voice breaks. She wants all of us dead. Wolves and Flamekeepers both. The name hits me like a physical blow. Morgana. Memories surface. Fractured. Incomplete. A woman with dark hair and darker eyes, standing in our doorway the night of the fire. My mother's face, white with terror. My father pushing me toward the back door, telling me to run. She killed my family. The words come out hollow. She killed them and I didn't. I couldn't. Elena. Kieran's hand closes around mine. Breathe. But I can't, because the pieces are falling into place. The fire wasn't an accident, wasn't caused by my untrained power. It was murder, calculated, targeted. Morgana hunted down my family because of what we were, because of the power in my blood. And she cursed Kieran to stone to eliminate the Alpha King who might have protected us. 300 years, 3 years, the same enemy, the same evil. Rage floods through me, and flame erupts across my skin without warning. The table catches fire, the walls smoke. Elena. She took everything. My voice doesn't sound like my own. She took your pack, my family, 3 centuries of life from you. She made me think I was a monster, that I killed the people I loved. Kieran pulls me into his chest, and the shock of his cool skin against my burning body grounds me. Barely. I know, he says quietly. I know, and we will make her answer for it. I want her dead. So do I. His arms tighten around me. But not like this, not blind with rage. She's powerful, Elena. Ancient. We need to be smart. He's right. I hate that he's right. I focus on breathing, on pulling the flame back under my skin, on the steady beat of Kieran's heart against my cheek. When I finally have control again, I pull back to look at him. You almost lost it too, when Sarah said Morgana's name. His jaw is tight. Yes. What stopped you? You. Simple. Direct. True. You steadied me. The bond. Feeling you there, in my mind, in my soul, it gave me something to hold on to besides rage. I reach up to cup his face. His eyes are still more gold than brown, the wolf close to the surface. We'll face her together, I say firmly. Not you protecting me, not me protecting you. Together. His hand covers mine. Together, he agrees. And in that moment, despite everything, the danger, the grief, the enemy hunting us, I feel something click into place. We're not just mates bound by ancient magic. We're partners, and that's so much stronger. The village council meets at dawn. I stand before them with Kieran at my side, Sarah behind us, and I watch their faces cycle through fear, suspicion, and finally reluctantly acceptance. Because the truth is laid bare now. The Shadow Wolves weren't random violence. They were a declaration of war. And Morgana won't stop until we're all dead. She'll come for the village, I tell them, my voice steady despite the fear coiling in my gut. Not because you matter to her, but because I'm here. Because Kieran is here. She'll burn this place to ash just to get to us. The mayor, a gray-haired man who once refused to meet my eyes, looks at me directly for the first time in 3 years. What do you propose? We fight. Kieran's voice is calm, absolute. We fortify, we prepare. And when she comes, we make sure she never threatens anyone again. Fight a witch with an army of corrupted wolves? Someone scoffs. We're farmers, merchants. We don't. You have me, I interrupt, a flamekeeper. You have Kieran, an alpha king. You have Sarah, who survived corruption and knows Morgana's tactics. I let flame dance across my fingertips, controlled, beautiful, deadly. And you have a choice. Run and die scattered, or stand and fight together. The silence stretches. Then Thomas, the same man who tried to flirt with me at the market, stands. I'll fight. Others follow. Not all of them, but enough. By noon, we have 40 volunteers. By evening, Kieran has organized them into defensive positions, his alpha authority turning frightened civilians into something resembling a militia. I watch him work, admiration swelling in my chest. This is who he was before the curse, a leader, a king, someone people would follow into fire. And when he catches my eye across the square, the small smile he gives me is just for us. We plan through the night. Sarah draws maps of Morgana's last known locations. Kieran outlines defensive strategies, his tactical mind sharp despite 3 centuries of imprisonment. I practice channeling flame through different materials, learning what burns clean and what corrupts. The cottage is crowded with people now, fighters taking shifts, Sarah teaching them to recognize corrupted wolves, the mayor's wife distributing weapons. But in the quiet moments between planning sessions, Kieran finds me, a hand on my lower back as he passes, fingers brushing mine when he hands me water, his knee pressed against mine under the table during strategy discussions. Small touches, constant touches, like he needs the physical confirmation that I'm here, alive, his, and I return them, a palm on his shoulder, leaning into his side when exhaustion makes me sway, threading my fingers through his hair when we finally collapse onto my bed for 3 hours of stolen sleep. I can feel your worry, he murmurs into the darkness, his arm heavy around my waist. I'm terrified, I admit, of losing you, of failing these people, of facing her and, you won't fail. He pulls me closer, his chest solid against my back. You're the strongest person I've ever known, Elena, flamekeeper, blood or not. How can you be so sure? Because you talked to Stone for 3 years and never gave up hope. Because you chose to save Sarah instead of kill her. Because you corrected an alpha king and he listened. His lips brush my temple. Because you set me free. I turn in his arms to face him. In the moonlight filtering through the window, his eyes are more brown than gold. Almost human. Almost at peace. Promise me something, I whisper. Anything. If it comes down to a choice, me, or stopping her, you choose stopping her. His whole body goes rigid. No. Kieran, no. He cups my face, his touch achingly gentle. I have lived 300 years in darkness. I have lost everything, my pack, my kingdom, my humanity. I will not lose you. I cannot lose you, and remain sane. The bond. Fuck the bond. The raw emotion in his voice cracks something open in my chest. Bond or no bond, I choose you. I will always choose you. And if you think I would let you sacrifice yourself while I do nothing, you don't know me at all. I see the truth in his eyes, the absolute certainty, and I know he means every word. Together then, I say softly. We both survive or neither of us does. Together. He seals it with a kiss that tastes like promises and desperation and home. We don't sleep much that night. Morgana comes 3 days later. The sky turns black at noon. Unnatural darkness that swallows the sun. The temperature plummets, frost creeping across windows in patterns that look like screaming faces. And then the howling starts. Dozens of voices, hundreds maybe, all corrupted, all coming for us. Positions. Kieran's alpha command rings across the square. People scramble to their assigned posts. Sarah shifts into wolf form, rallying the handful of other shifters who answered Kieran's call. I take my place at the center, flame already building in my palms. The shadow wolves hit us like a black tide. Chaos erupts. Fire and fury and the clash of teeth against steel. I throw flame in sweeping arcs, purifying when I can, destroying when I must. Beside me, Kieran is a silver blur of violence, his wolf form massive and terrifying and beautiful. We fight in perfect sync. When he drives wolves toward me, I burn them clean. When I'm overwhelmed, he's there, fangs and claws defending me with savage efficiency. The bond hums between us: awareness, coordination, trust. And then I see her. Morgana stands at the edge of the square, untouched by the battle. She's beautiful in a terrible way. Ageless, dark-haired, eyes like bottomless pits. Power radiates from her in sickening waves. Our eyes meet across the carnage. She smiles and sends a spear of pure shadow straight at my heart. Kieran doesn't hesitate, doesn't think. He lunges into the path of the attack. The shadow pierces his chest with a wet, horrible sound. No. Time fractures. I watch him fall, silver fur stained red, gold eyes dimming. The bond screams with his pain, his shock, his desperate need to protect me even as he's dying. Rage like I've never known explodes through me. The flame answers. Not the controlled fire Kieran taught me. Something deeper. Primal. The full power of my bloodline unleashed. White fire erupts from my body in a column that reaches the black sky. Heat sears outward, vaporizing every corrupted wolf within 50 feet. The darkness recoils, burning away like paper. I stride toward Morgana, and the ground scorches beneath my feet. You took everything from me, I say, and my voice echoes with power. My family, his freedom, 300 years of life. Morgana's smile falters. She raises her hands, shadow gathering. You're untrained, weak. You can't. I don't let her finish. The flame pours from me, through me, around me. I feel Kieran's presence in my mind, weak but alive, pushing what strength he has left through the bond. Alpha power and Flamekeeper fire merging into something unprecedented. Something Morgana never anticipated. The white fire shapes itself into a massive wolf, Kieran's form, built from my flame. It lunges. Morgana's shadows shatter like glass. She screams, throwing everything she has at me. Dark magic that's ended kingdoms, curses that have lasted centuries. And I burn through all of it. This ends now, I say, and drive the flame straight into her heart. Morgana's eyes go wide, disbelieving. She opens her mouth, maybe to curse me, maybe to beg, but only smoke comes out. She burns from the inside out, clean, complete, no trace left behind. When the fire fades, I'm standing in a circle of scorched earth, and Morgana is gone. The remaining shadow wolves collapse, the corruption bleeding out of them. The unnatural darkness lifts, the sun returns, and I feel Kieran's pain spike through the bond. I run. He's shifted back to human form when I reach him. Blood pools beneath his body, dark and spreading. The shadow spear disintegrated when Morgana died, but the wound it left behind is catastrophic. A hole in his chest that's too close to his heart, edges black with residual corruption. No, no, no. I drop to my knees beside him, hands hovering over the wound, flame already surging to the surface. You stupid, self-sacrificing, you promised we'd both survive. Couldn't. Let it. Hit you. His voice is barely a rasp. Blood flecks his lips. Worth it. It's not worth it if you die. Tears stream down my face as I press my burning palms against his chest. You don't get to leave me. Not after everything. Not after... My voice breaks. I love you, you absolute idiot. You can't die. I won't let you die. His eyes, still more gold than brown despite his human form, focus on my face. Love? Yes, love. So you need to stay alive so I can tell you properly, and so I can be furious with you for being so... The flame pours into him, seeking the corruption, burning it away. But there's so much damage. Too much. Kieran, please, please. His hand lifts weakly to cup my face, thumb brushing away my tears. Meant what I said. Choose you. Always. Then choose to live. I lean down until our foreheads touch. Choose to stay with me. Choose us. The bond between us flares. I feel his wolf rising, fighting, clawing toward survival with everything he has left. And I feed him everything I am, all my fire, all my strength, all my desperate, fierce love. The wound begins to close. Slowly, too slowly, but it's working. The corruption burns away in threads of white flame. New tissue knits together. The bleeding slows, then stops. Kieran's breathing evens out. Color returns to his face, and when his eyes open fully, they're clear and bright and alive. Elena, he breathes. I collapse against his chest, sobbing with relief. His arms come around me strong and sure, holding me like he'll never let go. I'm okay, he murmurs into my hair. I'm okay. You saved me. You saved me first, you ass. His laugh is weak but real. We're even then, not even close. I pull back enough to look at him, and I don't bother wiping away my tears. You're never doing that again. You hear me? Never. Can't promise that. His hand slides into my hair, cradling my head. I'll always protect you. It's not a choice, it's who I am. Then I'll protect you right back. I kiss him, tasting blood and smoke and life, because that's who I am. When we finally pull apart, Sarah is standing nearby with a blanket. The mayor is organizing cleanup, and every single person who can see us is staring. Not with fear, not with suspicion, with something that looks almost like reverence. The Flamekeeper and the Alpha King, the mayor will say later. The ones who saved us all. But right now, I don't care about titles or legends. I just care that Kieran is alive. Part 8. The village transforms over the following weeks. The corrupted wolves who survived 17 in total stay. Sarah leads them, teaching them to be human again, to control the wolf. Kieran helps, his alpha authority giving them structure, purpose, pack. And the villagers who once avoided me now seek me out, for healing, for warmth when winter bites too deep, for the small magics that make life easier. I'm not the cursed girl anymore. I'm not the one they whisper about in fear. I'm Elena, the Flamekeeper, and I belong. Kieran doesn't hide what I am to him. He's shameless about it, actually. His hand finds mine in public. He stands too close during council meetings. When Thomas makes the mistake of asking me to dance at the spring festival, Kieran appears at my side with a smile that's all teeth. She's spoken for, he says pleasantly. Thomas flees. I elbow Kieran in the ribs. You didn't have to growl at him. I didn't growl. You absolutely growled. Did I? He pulls me against him, swaying to the music despite Thomas's absence. I don't recall. Possessive wolf. You're possessive wolf. His eyes gleam gold in the firelight. And you love it. I do. God help me, I absolutely do. The pack grows. Wolves from distant territories hear about the Alpha King who returned, about the Flamekeeper who purifies corruption. They come seeking refuge, seeking purpose, seeking him. And Kieran builds something beautiful from the ashes. Not the kingdom he lost, but something new, something better. A family. The mate ceremony happens under the full moon. It's a small gathering, the pack, Sarah, a handful of villagers who've become friends. We stand in the square where Kieran's statue once stood, where I whispered my secrets to stone and found something real. He wears simple clothes, his silver hair pulled back, scars on full display. I wear a dress the color of flame, my hair loose, my palms already glowing with barely contained power. Sarah officiates, because she understands what we are, what we've survived, what we've built. The mate bond is sacred, she says, her voice carrying in the quiet night. It's not just magic or instinct, it's choice. Every day, you choose each other. Every day you build something stronger than the sum of your parts. Kieran takes my hands. His touch sends warmth racing up my arms. I was stone, he says, his voice steady and sure. Dead in everything but name. You brought me back. Not with magic, with your voice, your strength, your refusal to accept loneliness as fate. His thumbs brush over my knuckles. You are my mate, my queen, my equal, and I vow to stand beside you, not above you. To protect you, yes, but to let you protect me too. To choose you every day for as long as I draw breath. My throat tightens. I was alone. I manage. Lost. Afraid. You listened when no one else would. You saw me when I was invisible. I squeeze his hands, feeling the bond thrumming between us. You are my mate, my partner, my home, and I vow to choose you every day, to burn beside you, not behind you, to build a life with you that honors everything we've survived and everything we've become. The bond ignites. It's not subtle. Fire erupts around us in a perfect circle, white and gold and burning without consuming. The pack howls a symphony of joy and recognition, and Kieran pulls me into a kiss that feels like a promise written in flame and moonlight. When we break apart, his eyes are pure molten gold and his smile is absolutely feral. Mine, he growls against my lips. Yours, I agree. And you're mine. Always. The fire spirals upward, painting the night sky with light, and I've never felt more complete. 5 years later, I stand in the square with our daughter on my hip. She's 3 years old, silver-haired and gold-eyed, with flame dancing across her tiny palms without burning, a perfect blend of both her parents. Behind her, our son, barely a year old, sits on Kieran's shoulders, laughing as his father shifts partial claws to make him giggle. The village is thriving, the pack is strong, and the empty pedestal where Kieran's statue once stood is now a garden. Flowers bloom year-round here, fed by residual magic and tended by the children who play in the square without fear. Sometimes I still can't believe this is my life, that the lonely girl who whispered to stone now has a family, a purpose, a home. Mama, my daughter says, tugging on my hair, tell the story. Which story, love? The wolf story. About Papa. I smile, settling her more comfortably on my hip as Kieran joins us. He wraps an arm around my waist, our son still perched on his shoulders, and we stand together looking at the garden. Once upon a time, I begin. There was a girl who was very lonely, and in the center of her village, there was a statue of a wolf made of stone. And she talked to it, my daughter adds excitedly. She did, every night. She told it her secrets and her fears and her dreams, and the wolf listened. Kieran's arm tightens around me. Our son babbles happily. The pack moves around us. Sarah organizing patrols, young wolves training, families gathering for the evening meal. And one day, I continue, the wolf woke up. And he wasn't stone anymore. He was real. And he loved the girl who'd been brave enough to speak to silence. And they lived happily ever after, my daughter declares. They did, Kieran murmurs, pressing a kiss to my temple. They really did. I lean into him, watching our children, our pack, our life. I spoke to a stone wolf because I was lonely. I found a king, and I found home. Not in a place, but in the man standing beside me, in the family we've built, in the love that transformed curse into blessing. The statue is gone, but its legacy remains. In the garden that grows where stone once stood, in the pack that thrives under moonlight, in the Flamekeeper and the Alpha King who chose each other when the world tried to keep them apart, and in the promise we make every day. Together, always together. The end. Thank you for listening to another emotional, magical shifter romance here on Tina Romance Library. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, so you never miss more powerful, heart-gripping romance stories.